If you have a clear food plan and still binge by end of the day, it's not because you're weak. You're probably making day-to-day mistakes which affect your process. Today, I will be talking about 4 most common mistakes and what to do to fix them. Let's start. Mistake number 1 is rules and conditions around food. We have too many rules around food. As someone who recovered from binge eating, I had so many rules and that would give me so much anxiety. The rules around food look very individual from person to person. What is common through all of them is the earning part. I should earn this slice of pizza if I want to have it, not because I just want to and I will eat it. And how to fix it is replace it with the permissions. Take responsibility on yourself and give yourself this ability to have any food it wants whenever it wants. When you have rules and conditions, they are usually set by somebody else. What permission gives is you are taking control yourself. You become responsible. You are the one who decides. The second one is extreme restriction. This, I think, is something that we all experienced, especially if you ever try to lose weight. We are restricting specific group of food. In general, restriction always ends up with binging because when we restrict something, it becomes more interesting for us. That's just because we're humans. And second, if I'm craving something and I'm telling my body no every single time, the moment I will say yes and will eat the slice of pizza, that slice of pizza will become full pizza. Let me tell you how to fix extreme restriction first. Just not restricting. I know it sounds very simple. And on the paper it is very simple, but it's quite difficult to do. How to not have restriction is eat in moderation. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it 1,000 times. Eat in moderation. Issue with you was always that I don't know how to. How to eat in moderation will be depending how often were you torturing yourself by extreme restriction. Because the longer you have been doing that, the longer it will take for your body to accept that restriction is gone now and will start requesting things which it needs. If I haven't had pizza for 5 years because I didn't allow myself to have pizza, the moment I will have it, I will eat several slices in a row. I will eat pizza several days in a row, and that's fine. You don't have to restrict that or moderate that because one day I will look at the pizza and it will be so boring or it will be not tasty anymore because I've been eating it for a whole week. Your body knows when to stop. It's just fear which makes us freak out whenever we are trying to give ourselves this full permission. Third one is all or nothing thinking. Why it is one of the biggest mistake is I noticed the people who are struggling with binge eating, all or nothing thinking is going head to head with it. Because we think that if I overeat one time, it means that my whole progress before that has been ruined. Nothing will work for me anymore. I'm a failure. I should comfort myself with food. How to fix all or nothing thinking is how to fix all or nothing thinking is to understand that with one mistake you didn't ruin all of your progress. It was not that now everything is gone and now you get nothing. It's the fact that you had one slip up. It's a small injury, and even if you had a big relapse, all of your previous progress didn't go anywhere because it taught you something new. Now you have a new set of skill sets. If you can collect proof showing you that one failure doesn't mean that now you're at step 0 again, it will be extremely helpful. Let's talk about last mistake. Last mistake is ignoring emotional regulation. If you take away only one thing from this video, I really want it to be mistake number 4. Emotional regulation is number 1 thing that will make your binge recovery process very, very, very good. Your recovery process is completely dependent on emotional regulation. That is the way I was able to lose weight without being on a diet or exercising. Because when you regulate your emotions with anything else but food, binge episodes decrease and then they completely disappeared. As someone who has been struggling with binges for over a decade, I never imagined I would be binge free, and I am. Only because I was able to regulate my emotions without food. I was able to cope with my emotions without food. But how to do that? What to do is to first figure out what are emotional needs you are fulfilling with food. It will not be all the emotional needs. For that, you have to have very transparent, very honest conversation with yourself to accept and verbalize the emotions which are processed using food. You can start with the most common ones, like stress or sadness or boredom. Those are things we deal with food very often, and you can start working on them one by one. And starting small by naming your emotion first before every meal. Every time you want food, including snacks, by the way, name the emotion first. Ask yourself what it is that I'm feeling right now. It's generally a very good practice to be aware of your emotions in the time of feeling them, right? Then find a way to regulate your body. I have a bunch of tools I use to regulate my emotional state. Since we're already talking about the topic, if you want help applying these fixes in real life, you should join my free school community. There you will get to support and accountability and very simple tools that you can do in 5 to 10 minutes throughout the day that will help you with the binge recovery route instead of starting over every single day or every Monday. A link will be in the description. Now, let's talk about what will change when you fix those things. First thing that will change is the food stops feeling like a reward or test. Food becomes just food. And this is very weird state to be in when food doesn't have any additional function except being food and fulfilling your need of hunger. They just become less frequent until the day they disappear. They completely disappear for me. They are decreasing in frequency because now you're using other things with except food. And every time you use something else, you don't binge anymore. That's why they are very helpful. Hard evening stops turning into a multi-day spiral. I used to have those days when 10, 12 days I would end up on the extreme binge cycle where I would have binge episodes several times a day, and it was torturous because you are completely in that feeling of like the guilt and shame is always with you, and you know you shouldn't be doing it, but you are still not able to stop, and it's like some form of torture. But by working on small steps and creating small milestones with yourself, it's very helpful to stop turning one difficult day into a difficult week. Weight loss becomes more consistent because you are creating plan which is maintainable. You're not only working on your nutrition. I didn't work on my nutrition, if I'm completely honest. I only think I did to lose 30 pounds in 90 days was to work on my emotional state and my binge recovery, and weight loss came as a natural product of it because I stopped binging. I was consuming less calories It was happening naturally though. I wasn't having myself specific diet plan. But weight loss becomes way more consistent because you're addressing the deep causes of it. You're not just superficially having this cycle of never-ending diets. Last part is trust in yourself. You are learning to trust yourself more because you're collecting more proofs of your achievements. Most people are not stuck because they need more motivation. People are stuck because they have too much rules, which creates very big pressure. They have extreme restriction, which creates the backlash. That's what the binge restrictive cycle is. Then they have this perfection. It creates these spirals and emotions which are unprocessed, which creates the coping tool in a form of food. What I would invite you to do is to not try to fix all of those four things together. I imagine it being too much to do at the same time. I know it was too much for me. Choose one, something that you think is affecting you the most. Choose one, practice it. Start with the smallest task, practice it throughout the week, maybe 2 weeks. Then add the next one, and you will see how recovery process will become easier, more achievable, less torturous, and how you will be able to see it on a different light. That is all I had for you today. I hope it was interesting. Again, if you want to join my community on School, it is completely free. You will find link in the description below. I will be seeing you tomorrow. Bye.